Welcome back. In this video, we will write the code for solving the nested if-else problem where we discussed in the previous video. In the previous video, we talked about an approach to solving the problem with the nested if-else, and in this video, we're going to write the code for that. Just a quick refresh about this problem, as what you input is a yearly salary. If the salary is over 100,000, then you calculate the tax at 20%. If the salary is 80 to 100,000, you calculate the tax at 15%. 50 to 79,999, 10%, 30 to 49,999 at 5%, and below $30,000, it's zero tax. And in the previous video, we talked about how to approach to solve this problem. The approach to solve this problem is to break this into multiple conditions or multiple layers. In the outermost condition, we check to see if the salary is over 100,000, and in the second layer of this condition, we check to see if it is 80 to 100,000. In the third layer, we check to see if it is 50 to 79,000. In the innermost layer, we check to see if it is 30 to 49,000. I'm sorry, not the innermost. This is the one less than the innermost. And the innermost layer, obviously, its default tax rate is zero. As I mentioned in the previous video, we start writing the code for this. So let's write that if yearly salary greater than 100,000 and the tax equals to yearly salary times 20%. Is that right? Okay, so we took care of this. So basically what we are doing, we had written instructions in plain English or pseudocode. We're going to translate each one of this into a Python code. As you know, we translated that into Python code, and that's what you got here. Now I'm going to translate this into Python code, and that is this line of code here. And everything else goes under else. Make sense? So what remains? The other layers. In the next layer, you check to see if the range is 80 to 100,000. So if you can write like this, else. So here it is yearly salary is 80 to 100,000 greater than equals to 80, and yearly salary less than 100,000. So in this case, the tax is yearly salary 15%. So what you have done here is we'll look at it so far. The next one is else. So that means we need to take care of this. And remember, don't forget to indent this. So you have an if else, another if else over here. So come over here, another if condition and else condition, right, like this. So this is an if else condition that represents this layer in green here. Now I'm going to write a condition. The salary range is 50 to 79,999. So you say yearly salary is greater than or equals to 50,000, and yearly salary less than equals to 79,999. If that is the case, then you say tax equals to yearly salary times 10%. So what we have done, we have taken care of this much so far. And then moving on to the next condition where it says if the salary is in the range of 30 to 49,000, that's condition 4. So that should go under the else over here. So that should be coming over here. So if yearly salary is 30 to 49,000 greater than 30 greater than or equals to 30,000, and yearly salary less than or equals to 49,999. And don't forget to put the colon here. And so write this skeleton first. If the salary is in this range, what is the tax? The tax equals to yearly salary times 0.05. Okay, otherwise tax equals to 0. And it's complaining because there is no semicolon over here. There you go. If you look at these lines here, it tells you that this indenting, pay very close attention. It has to be indented. That means All of this is the body of this else, and I have only one instruction as the body of if condition. Again, all of that is the body of else, and all of this is the body of this else over here, and all of this is the body of this else. Similarly, this instruction over here is the body of this else over here. Just by looking at this code, the way it's indented tells you which else goes with which if. So that else obviously goes with this if, this else goes with that if, and this else goes with this if, and this else goes with that if. And you know just by indenting, if I put something over here, this does not belong to the body of neither the if nor the else. Because how do I know? Because it is not indented. Suppose if I push this to here, now this becomes the body of else. So if I push this over here, this now becomes the body of this else. So if I push it back a little bit, this print now becomes the body of that else. If I push it back further, if I push it to over here, you see the line? If I push it back over here, now this becomes the body, this line over here becomes the body of that else. So depending on where these instructions are, so it's very important you locate these instructions where you expect them to be. So if I push it back, now this is no longer the body of that else. So this is now at the same level as this line of code over here. So I'm going to get this code from here, print it over here. So basically, you're displaying the yearly salary, you're displaying the tax, and you're calculating the net salary as yearly salary minus tax, and you're displaying the net salary. So always write the code for the outermost skeleton. This is the outermost skeleton. Write that first. And then start filling in the details one level at a time, one layer at a time. So again, this is the outermost skeleton. This if else is the outermost. This is at the second level or second layer. That's why I use the term layer. This is the third layer. This is the fourth layer. When you are thinking about the outermost layer, don't think about other layers. Just focus on thinking about the outermost layer. And then gradually you start writing the code for other layers. That is the approach that will help you, especially if you're a beginning programmer, to solve this problem using the nested if-else condition. I'm going to quickly run it once, put a breakpoint over here. Enter the salary. Let's say I will enter the salary $55,000. So it should be coming over here, right? It should be coming over here if I enter the salary $55,000. Okay, so because of the breakpoint, it stopped over there. Step over. Now, obviously, I did not, this condition doesn't pass. It's not true. It's going to skip that line. Now it's going to go into the else. Does it meet this? Obviously, no, right? Come to the else. Now, is the yearly salary 55,000? Is it greater than 50,000? Yes. Is it less than 79,999? Yes. That means this condition is true as well as this condition is true. And what do you have in between these two conditions? And you know how and works. For and to be true, then both conditions have to be true. Let's suppose right now, you see, it reached over there. Right now, tax is 0, and the tax is now become 5,500. And where do you think? See, it jumped straight away outside the nested if condition. It's going to go through the rest of it. And let me one more time. Let's type the salary as 29,000. One thing you have to be careful with when you're writing the code, what if somebody types exactly $80,000? So make sure your code handles those values that are at the border between the two ranges. So here it's first condition is false, second condition is false, third condition is false. Now that condition is also going to be false. Now tax is 0, you see. So running it one more time, last time, okay? Let's say I type the salary 120,000. Will the first condition be true? Obviously, yes, right? So now you see it's going to calculate the tax. Right now, it hasn't calculated the tax yet. It's going to calculate the tax as 24,000, and right away it jumps out of nested if else conditions to line number 18, and then we run through the rest of it. Okay, one more time. I just want to demonstrate one more thing here. 120. So once you reach a point where you don't want to go line by line, as I have demonstrated this earlier, you can always hit this button, resume, right over here. That will zip through the rest of these lines, right? If you don't want to go through line by line. Okay, thank you, and we'll see you in the next video.